This question is lesson 4 quiz in your study guide, practice for the quarterly exam. Unit rates, solve problems with unit rates, also conversions. So question number 1, you will see something similar to this on your test. So I want to make sure you understand this step by step. So here's number 1. So here has a piece of ribbon that is 24 inches long. She knows that this piece of ribbon is 2 feet long. So we can say that 24 inches is equivalent to 2 feet. Fill in the blanks in the double number line to show the relationship between inches and feet. So what do we have to do here? We have to fill in the number line. If you don't fill in the number line, the question is incomplete. So we need to use the rate that was given in the question. So we can say that 24 inches is equivalent to 2 feet, or 2 inches per 2 feet. We can set them equivalent to each other. It doesn't really matter how you write it. So we can see here that this is the rate here. So at the top of our number line is going by inches, and the bottom of our number line is going by feet. And we have to figure out how much is each numerator and denominator increasing by. So if we look here, we need 1 foot in the denominator. So we want to end up with 1 foot. So how do we start with 2 feet and end up with 1 foot? You have to divide 2 by itself to end up with 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Whatever you do to the denominator, you have to do the same thing to the numerator. 24 inches divided by 2 is equivalent to 12 inches. So we can put 12 across from 1 foot, because when there are 12 inches, that is going to be equivalent to 1 foot. Now we can see, okay, what is my numerator increasing by? So how do you start with 12 and end up with 18? You have to add 6. Add 6 here, so the numerator is increasing by 6. You can also look down here and say, okay, what is my denominator increasing by? So I have 1 and 2. Halfway between 1 and 2 is 1.5. And you can also see right here that we have 4.5 next to 5. So the bottom number line must increase by half. So we have 1, 1.5, and 2. Halfway between 2 and 3, we'll have 2.5. And then after 3, we're going to have 3.5. And then after 3.5, we should have 4. 4 is halfway between 5, so we know the bottom scale is correct. And then for the numerator, you can think, what number is halfway between 30 and 42? Or you can think add 6, halfway between 30 and 42 is 36. How do I know that? Because if I add 30 plus 42, I get 72. And then if I find out what's halfway between those two numbers, I'm going to divide it by 2, and I'll end up with 36. So that's another way to think about it. What's the number is halfway between two numbers? You add the two numbers up and divide it by 2. So now I know that this is the correct rate, increasing by 6. So 42 plus 6 is going to be 48. Also, 12 times 4 will give you 48. 1 times 4 will give you 48. Will give you 4. So I know this rate is correct. And then I need to add 6 to this one, or I can subtract 6 from 60, and I'll end up with 52. So I have a completed number line using equivalent ratios. So when there are 30 inches, we know that's equivalent to 2.5 feet. All right, moving on to number 2. A chef is using vinegar for a salad dressing recipe. She has 2 cups of vinegar. She knows there are 8 fluid ounces in 1 cup, so these are just conversions, and 2 teaspoons and 1 fluid ounce. How many teaspoons are in 2 cups of vinegar? So you always want to know what you're starting with and where you're trying to go. So write this down. You're starting with 2 cups of vinegar, and you want to convert that into tablespoons. So you always know what you're starting with and what you're trying to convert to, and you use conversion factors to do that. So you can start with 2 cups per 1, so 2 cups over 1. You're not starting with a rate, so don't put that 2 cups over anything. And then we need a conversion factor. Now the conversion factors that we need were given in the question. We have 8 fluid ounces per 1 cup, and we have 2 tablespoons per fluid ounce. So if we want cups to cancel out first, we need to first get cups in the denominator since we already have cups in the numerator. So we need this rate right here where we put 1 cup in the denominator, which came from here, and then that when there is 1 cup, it's equivalent to 8 ounces. So I'm going to put 8 ounces in the numerator. Cups cancels out with cups, and we can say that we can multiply 2 times 8 for the numerator, 8 ounces, to get 16. So we can say that 2 cups is equivalent to 16 ounces. But we're not finished because the final answer needs to be a tablespoon, so I'm just going to leave it like this and write another conversion factor. So now, if I use this conversion, I'm left with my final units in ounces, and that's not what I want because I need to finish this. I need another conversion factor to convert the ounces that I have, the 16 ounces from 2 times 8, into tablespoons. So I'm going to use this conversion factor here, and what do I need in the denominator? Ounces. How do I know that? Because I have ounces in the numerator, I need ounces in the denominator. Why do I need it in the denominator? Because anything divided by itself equals 1. If I have 8 divided by 8, that's going to be equivalent to 1. If I have ounces in the numerator, ounces in the denominator, they'll cancel each other out because anything divided by itself equals 1. This is a form of division. So the rest of this rate is 2 tablespoons for the numerator. Now ounces is going to cancel out with ounces, and I'll be left with 2 times 8 times 2 tablespoons, which is going to give me my final answer, 16 times 2, which is 32. And the units that I have left is tablespoons. So now I have my answer. There are 32 tablespoons and 2 cups of vinegar. Now we're moving on to number 3. A market sells 7 oranges for $2.45. How much will 8 oranges cost? Now this is a unit price question. You have to find how much 1 orange costs, and then you have to use that rate to find out how much this 8 oranges cost. So you have to first start off with, if you want to figure out how much does 1 orange cost, you need oranges in a denominator. So unit price is price per item. You don't have to memorize that because you can use common sense and know that you want to get oranges, the price for 1 orange. So that's how you know you need to put oranges in the denominator. And then in the numerator, you need $2.45. In the numerator. So how do you get the price of 1 orange? Anything divided by itself equals 1. So you can divide the denominator by 7 to get the price of 1 orange. Whatever you do to the denominator, you have to do the same thing to the numerator to maintain equivalency. So you have $2.45 divided by 7. So I'm going to do that over here. So $2.45 divided by 7. Now my divisor is 7. It's already a whole number because I don't have my decimal point is here. So 7 is already a whole number. So I don't have to move the decimal point in the dividend. I'm just going to take it from the decimal point in the dividend and move it right up to the quotient. And then I'm going to divide. 7 goes into 2 0 times. 7 goes into 24 3 times, because 3 times 7 is 21. And then you have to subtract. 4 minus 1 is 3. 2 minus 2 is 0. Then I'm going to bring that next number down, which is 5. 7 goes into 35. 5 times 7 is 35. So what does that mean? 1 orange costs 35 cents. So 1 orange will cost 35 cents. Now, if you draw it out, we have 7 oranges, that's gonna be equivalent to 245. So 245 needs to be split evenly between 7 oranges. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So each orange is gonna cost 35 cents. So 1 orange is 35 cents. 2 oranges is going to be 35 cents plus 35 cents, for 35 times 2. Another orange is going to be 35 cents more. Another orange. That's for 5 oranges, 35 cents times 5 it will be the price for 5 oranges. 35 cents times 6 will be the price for 6 oranges. And 35 cents times 7, which is equivalent to 245. So if you check your work, you can say, okay, if 1 orange costs 35 cents, I'm saying that if I buy 7 oranges, it should be equivalent to 245, because that's what the question said. So I got my unit price, how much 1 orange costs, and then I can check it by using the inverse operation. So 7 times 5 is 35. And then 2 times 3 is 21, plus 3, 24. 7 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. Then I have to put my decimal point in the product. So I count the number of factors here. 1, 2, and then I come here, 1, 2. So $2.45. So I know that this unit price is correct. So if 1 orange costs 35 cents, I can figure out how much another orange costs by adding another 35 cents to 245. Or I can just take my unit rate, 35 cents times 8. And then I have 8 times 5, which is 40. 8 times 3, 24, 28, plus 4. And then 8 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. Then I have to put my decimal point. If you don't put the decimal point, 280 is not a reasonable answer. So you have to put that decimal point in, 2 numbers here. So you come here and go 2, and you get your final price, $2.80. Now this is a reasonable answer if each orange costs 35 cents. And we're going to move on to the next question. All right, question number 4. Nestor works at a restaurant at a garden center where he plots plants. It takes him 2.5 hours to plot 15 plants. Part A. You have a part A, that means there's part B. How many plants can Nestor plot in 1 hour? That sounds like a unit rate, 1 hour. That means I need 1 hour in the denominator. Fill in the blank to complete the equation and the statement. So we already know that 15 needs to go first, so we have to come up with an equation. The first thing I'm going to do is write down my given information to figure out how much does 1 hour, how much will I need for 1 hour. So I have my given information. I know that there's 2.5 hours to plant for each 15 plants. Now, since I need 1 hour in the denominator, I need to start off with hours in the denominator. So I'm going to take the reciprocal of this rate, 15 plants per 2.5 hours. Now I need to find the unit rate. So if I divide, so I need 2.5 hours to be equivalent to 1 hour. So how do I get the denominators to be equivalent to 1 hour? I'm going to I have to divide 2.5 by itself. Whatever you do to the denominator, you have to do the same thing to the numerator. So I'm going to divide 15 plants by 2.5. So 2.5 hours divided by 2.5 is going to give me 1 hour. So I know I need to start off with 15 as my dividend and divide by 2 1/2. And then the answer that I get from that is going to give me what that's equivalent to. So I can write 15 divided by 2 1/2. Now we have to change this mixed number to an improper fraction by multiplying and adding. So 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5 over 2. 5 over 2 is equivalent to 2 1/2. And then I'm going to keep everything the same. And then I can't have division next to division, so I need to multiply by the reciprocal of the divisor. So 15, I'm going to skip 15. I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, so change 5 over 2 to 2 over 5. Skip, flip, and multiply. I can cross simplify. I'm just going to multiply across. 15 times 2 is 30 for my numerator. And then 1 times 5 is going to be 5. 30 divided by 5, 6. So we can say that 5 divided by 2 1/2 is equivalent to 6. So he can pot 6 plants in 1 hour. Now, if you don't like dealing with fractions, you can change it to a decimal. So 2 1/2 is equivalent to 2 5/10, which we know. So we can have 15 divided by 2 5/10. Your divisor needs to be a whole number, so multiply by the power of 10. If you multiply the divisor by the power of 10, you need to multiply 15 by 10. Where's your decimal point? Right here. So you will move your decimal point 1 time to the right. A lot of students forget this part. Now you can think, okay, I've increased this one by 10, this one needs to increase by 10. If you don't know where the decimal point is, 15 times 10 is going to be 150. So your number should change from 15 to 150. Anyway, so you have 25 goes into 15 0 times. So you wouldn't put anything there. 25 goes into 150. 6 times 25 is 150. So you have the same exact answer, you just used a different method. Fractions are equivalent to decimals, so you can use that. So now we need to use our unit rate, which was 6 plants per 1 hour. So we can say that 6 plants is equivalent to 1 hour. So we need 3 1/2 hours for the denominator. So we need to multiply by 3 1/2. Whatever you do to the denominator, you do to the numerator. And then once we multiply, 6 times 3 1/2, change 3 1/2 to an improper fraction. 2 times 3 plus 1, you'll get 7 over 2. Times 6, you can cross simplify or multiply across. 6 times 7 is 42. 1 times 2 is 2. 42 divided by 2 is 21. So what does that mean? There are 21 plants for every 3 1/2 hours. So we're just making equivalent ratios, 21 plants. We're just making an equivalent ratio. Now, if you don't like dealing with fractions, be my guest and change and multiply 3 5/10 times 6. 3 1/2 is equivalent to 3 5/10, 3 1/2. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 3 is 18. Plus 3 is 21. Put your decimal point in 1, and you get the same answer. Whatever floats your boat. All right, moving on to the last and final question. You will see something like this on your quarterly exam. So make sure you review it and understand how to do it and why you're doing each step the way you're doing it. All right, so the next one, Elise needs three gallons of water to mix a fruit drink, but she has only 1 cup measuring cup. She only has 1 cup measuring cup. She knows that there are 4 cups in 1 quart and 4 quarts in 1 gallon. Fill in the blank to explain how Lisa can find the number of cups of water she needs to mix the fruit drink. So Elise can use the unit rate. First, she can blank 4 cups by blank to find that there are blank cups in 1 gallon. Oh, so right here, the first sentence is focusing on how many cups are in a gallon. So if you starting off with 1 cup, and we want to figure out how many cups are in a gallon, we're going to use these rates. So we can say that 4 quarts per 1 gallon, or 1 gallon per 4 quarts. That's our conversion factor. And the other conversion factor that we may need is 4 cups per 1 quart, or the reciprocal of that. So I need the reciprocal of this because I have cups in the numerator, so I need cups in the denominator so they can cancel out. Anything divided by itself equals 1. So 4 cups, and then I need 1 quart in the numerator. Now this says how many cups are in 1 gallon, so 1 cup we need to start with 1 gallon. So we actually going to I'm going to write this out and then we're going to flip everything. So then we need to write, so I'm just going to start over now. So we need 4 gallons, we need 1 gallon. We need to convert 1 gallon into cups. How many cups are in a gallon? So we need to actually start with 1 gallon. So then we need to use 1 gallon per 4 quarts. And then we need gallons, we'll cancel out with gallons. And then we need another conversion factor, 1 quart per 4 cups. Quarts cancel out with quarts. So we can say that 1 gallon is equivalent to gallons canceled out with gallons, canceled out with gallons, quart canceled out with quart. So 1 gallon times 4 cups is going to be equivalent to 16 cups. So we can say that 1 gallon is equivalent to 16 cups because we used our conversion factors. So what do we have to do? First, she can multiply 4 cups by 4 to find that there are 16 cups in 1 gallon. She can then multiply 3 gallons by 16 to determine that she will need 48 cups of water. Now, this is not really how I would work it out. We learned that what are we starting with and where we're trying to go, so let's take that route. So we're starting off with 3 gallons. And we want to convert that into cups. So we start with 3 gallons over 1, and then we multiply by our conversion factor. We have gallons in the numerator, so we need gallons in the denominator. So the conversion factor that we need is this one here. So 1 gallon is with gallons, 4 is with quarts. Then I need to multiply by another conversion factor because this only converts me to quarts because I have quarts left in the numerator. Then I multiply by another conversion factor, which is this conversion factor here, 1 quart for every 4 cups. Quarts cancel out with quarts, and then I end up with 3 times 4, which is 12, times 4 cups for the numerator, and that's how you end up with 48 cups for the numerator. And then for the denominator, I have 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1, so I'm not going to write that. So this is how you end up with the same answer, or you can find that part out.